Okay, my friends. So what I just did right here was I opened up a blank Google Sheet. If you want, you can title it. We can call it "Making a Column Chart," because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to do something called a column chart. Now, what I also did, just to make my life a little bit easier, was I took a picture of the distribution from your notes and put it right here. Now, the problem with that is it's just a picture. I can't do anything with it. So I'm going to have to come over here and actually type in this sheet. I'm going to have to type in the data from here, which is not a problem. Number of fours on 6 dice. Okay. And I don't know why I just I just made those columns narrower. Trials where we saw that many fours. Okay, and then once again I made it narrow, which was kind of silly. Okay, so this is your data column. This is your frequency column. We talked about that in the notes. This is a frequency distribution. It's just it's a distribution of much more many more trials, I should say. 15,243. Okay. The number of fours we could have, we might have 0, we might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Even though we didn't get 6, we could have had 6 theoretically. So I'm going to represent that there. How many trials did we get? Well, we had 5,163 times that we saw no fours at all. That's a lot, right? 6,043 times where we saw 1. 3112 where we saw 2, 797 where we saw 3, 118 where we saw 4, 10 where we saw 5, and none at all where we saw 6. All right, I'm going to pull this and just put it down here because I'm about to insert a chart. I think Sheets drops it right in this spot to the right of the data. Okay, now to insert a column chart, what you're going to do is the first thing is just grab everything you just typed, including the column headers. It likes the column headers. It makes them part of the chart. I'm going to go to Insert, Chart, and let's see what it picks. It often picks the wrong kind of chart first, and this is no exception to that. It picked what's called a line chart, which they're not bad charts. They're just not the ones we want to look at. I want to make a column chart, so I need to open this puppy dog up. Now, it's got these suggestions at the top. This is actually a column chart, but you might not know that unless you mouse over it. So, get in the habit of mousing over things in spreadsheets. When you do, spreadsheets tend to pop open what the things you're mousing over are. So if you recognize that as a column chart, great. If not, you can also just scroll until you see it. Aha, a column chart. So I'm going to select that right there. It's exactly the same one as the one at the top. I'm going to move it over a little tiny bit. And this, my dear friends, maybe I'll even stretch it a little tiny bit. That is a column chart. Now, let's go through it. Actually, I'm going to move it over a little bit again. And we're just going to compare it to the distribution. I think we can delete this one now. Don't need that one anymore. Let's compare it to the frequency distribution and do some pros and cons. So, first thing, across the bottom, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That corresponds to the leftmost column in the T-table of the frequency distribution. It's the number of fours that you get on 6 dice. And you can see right here, it even tells you it's the number of fours on 6 dice. Now, I double-clicked on that accidentally when I was talking, and I realized when I did that, a little box popped up over here, chart and axis title, horizontal axis title popped open. It looks like I can change some stuff down there. I can make it bold. Oh, that's fun. I can change the font size. Oh, looks like it's bigger than 10 already. Maybe it's 16. Oh, look at that. I like that. What if I double click on these numbers? Oh yeah, look at that. Horizontal axis. I can also change the font size there. I guess it already is 12. Maybe get 14. Make it a little bit. Oh, look at that. Make it bold. Can italicize it if I want to. Ooh, I don't like that. Oh, this is fun. You can change the text color. All kinds of good stuff. I bet you we can also change the vertical axis. Yep, vertical axis title. The one thing, and I don't think you can actually change this. I don't think we can make this rotate to the right. It looks like I don't have an option for rotating it. Nah, and that's the one downside of Google Sheets. Microsoft Excel is generally a much better program for making graphs like this. It's got a lot more customizability, if that's even a word. So we're stuck with that thing being sideways, unless I can right-click on it. Maybe I can right-click and... Nah, doesn't look like it. Okay, so anyway, we can just leave that and know that, well, let's talk about this axis. This vertical axis is representing the second column, this column over here. That column over there is showing us how many times did we see each of these occurrences of force. So we saw 5,163. Now, when you look at this bar right here, it goes up to about halfway between 4,000 and 6,000, a little bit closer to 6 than 4. You can't tell really exactly where that bar stops. Like a matter of fact, if I grab this chart and put it on top of the distribution, it represents the same data that's in the distribution, except we no longer have the exact numbers on those bars anymore, do we? Now, I'm just showing you how to solve that partially. You can mouse over the bars, and it'll tell you. But when you get over here to 5, I can't mouse over it. It's there. I mean, I know it happened 10 times. It's just that I can't actually mouse over that bar. So what you can do is you can double click on these bars. It opens up the customize menu. If we come over to here, the series. Now the series, it's a little bit cryptic, but series is the visual representation of those frequencies. That's what you're looking at right there. And to add the data labels, because this removes any of that vague inability to be able to recognize exactly how tall these bars are. Now we know. This bar is 5,163 tall. This bar is 6,043 tall. This bar is 3,112 tall, and so forth and so on and so forth and so on. Does that make sense? Okay, now you can also see, even though the 5 bar doesn't look like it's visible, and it's not really visible because 10 is so small compared to these large numbers over here, it doesn't really even register visually, you can at least know it's 10. And those, I bet you if we double click on those numbers, I bet you we can also get options. We can get options for them too. We can position them in different places. We can put them in the middle of the bars if you want. You can put them on the outside. I'm going to let you goof around with that if you want to. But that, my dear friends, is how you make a bar chart, or a column chart is what Sheets calls it, a column chart. And what I'm going to have you do now is practice some more percentages. Go on back to the notes.